Hello everyone, welcome back to Exalted Mercury. So in this video I am going to talk about Saturn's transit in the sign of Aquarius for all zodiac signs. So how would we describe Saturn? Well, Saturn often feels like a depressive force, but that is not the purpose of Saturn. In transit, Saturn in the chart indicates the part of your life that is being examined and tested. The house that Saturn is in represents the areas of greatest tension in your life, which you must direct your closest attention to. It wants you to learn everything about the importance of that area of your life. If your approach is erratic and boundless, Saturn will force you to slow down and push you to enact meaningful change. So Saturn is like a strict teacher whose teachings are sometimes dreaded but necessary for our growth and life structure in the longer run. So Aquarius is an air sign and often shown as a person pouring water from a pot, which indicates a brotherly, humane manifestation. Aquarius is an outsider who can see what needs to be changed because he is detached from society. This sign is full of boundless ideas on what will improve the lives of others. The principles associated with Aquarius are equality, democracy, freedom and human rights, and the advancement of science and technology to serve and better connect everyone. So basically, Aquarius is an idealist and wants to progressively create a utopian society. So when Taskmaster Saturn goes into Aquarius, it feels inspired by Aquarius's ideas of innovation, creativity and reform, and it can start putting these ideas into action by building or reforming a system or a structure that better serves people. Saturn in Aquarius can bring new ways of working using technology. Many of us have already been working from home or remotely the last few years due to the coronavirus. So during this transit we could see permanent flexible working policies implemented. It's also a great time for technological advances where we could see greater protection for privacy and the use of data and increased regulation of digital currency. So the last couple of times Saturn was in Aquarius was during the mid-90s and mid-60s. So what happened between 1964 to 1966? Well, during the 1950s there were civil rights movements which were campaigning to abolish legalized racial segregation and discrimination in the US. In July 1964, during Saturn's transit in Aquarius, we saw the landmark Civil Rights Act of 1964 that outlawed discrimination based on race, color and religion. What happened between 93 to 96? Well, the internet was invented before this period. I think the first web browser was created before 1990, but between 93 to 96, during Saturn's Aquarius transit, most of the principles and basic rules that govern the internet today were established. So I'll go through Saturn's transit in Aquarius for each rising sign. So I look at transits predominantly from the moon because based on my experience I've found the moon sign transits to be more accurate. But it's also important to note that a chart should be looked at holistically. So although Saturn is a powerful energy, there are another 8 planetary energies also affecting us in transit. So for Aries rising natives, Saturn will be transiting your 11th house, which is a Karma Trikone house. So Saturn's energy here will make you evaluate your network circle, which includes your friends, people you surround yourself by choice, and groups and organizations you are part of. So gradually over the next few years, you'll be letting go of certain connections and friendships who serve no purpose to you. You are no longer satisfied with superficial relationships. You will feel like you are wasting too much time on certain social obligations that are not helping you on any level. At the same time, you will be looking to make more meaningful connections with people who are mature, reliable, and dependable, and groups and organizations that are helping people on a more societal level. You'll be creating a more solid network with a good foundation that are going to withstand the next 30 years. 11th house is also your weekly monthly income. So over the last 2.5 years, Saturn has made you work really hard in your career, and now the time has come where you will get the rewards of your hard work. If you have been working as a casual or contractor, then there will be an opportunity for you to be made permanent. Saturn is ruling the 10th house, so moving to the 11th house, you will begin to fulfill your professional ambitions. Saturn's third aspect will be on your first house, which is ruled by the impulsive sign of Aries. So Saturn's aspect here will slow you down and make you become more controlled and disciplined. It will urge you to be a bit more cautious when starting new things, going forward, or taking risks. Saturn's third aspect is to encourage meaningful growth, so you will now be looking before leaping, and this will ensure you use your energy on things that really matter. Saturn here will also refine your attitude, making you a little bit more serious and responsible, which can open up more long-term prospects for growth. Saturn's 7th aspect will be on your 5th house, which is ruled by the sign of Leo and is the house of romance, speculation and children. So Leo can be a very expressive sign. So here, if you are in a relationship, you may not be as affectionate, or the dating scene could take a back seat for the time being, as all your focus is on networking, earning money and fulfilling your professional goals. For speculation, since Saturn is in the 11th house, this can be a period where you can get gains from existing investments. If you have young children, then you will need to try to ensure that you give enough attention to the kids, or where you need to try to find a balance between discipline and giving them freedom. Saturn's 10th aspect will be on your 8th house, which is a sign of Scorpio. 8th house represents inheritance. So here, if you are a beneficiary of an inheritance or a will, even though Saturn is transiting the 11th house, you will have obstacles and hurdles with inheritance matters. So for Taurus rising natives, Saturn's energy in Aquarius will happen in your 10th house, which is the house of career and status. So here you will be defining clear goals and what you want to achieve professionally, and working hard to create a foundation for your career plans moving forward. As Saturn is also ruling your 9th house and is a good planet for you, you may have to complete a course or pursue a qualification to progress you in your career, but don't worry, you will get the necessary support from senior people to build a solid platform. So Saturn's third aspect will be on your 12th house. So since Aries rules your 12th house and Rahu is currently transiting this house, you might have had your energy drained and some unnecessary expenditure the last 6 months. So Saturn's aspect here will actually help direct your energy and expenses better and on more meaningful things. Saturn's 7th aspect will be on your 4th house, which is ruled by Leo. So these people give a lot of importance to their home and possession and parents. Saturn's 7th aspect means this area may not receive enough attention in the next 2.5-3 years, as Taurus natives are busy working hard on their career. So here you will need to keep an eye out for your mother or your parents' health, and it might be a challenging time at home. 4th house represents conveniences like cars, so here you need to make sure that you find time to service your car so that nothing unpleasant happens. Saturn's 10th aspect will be on your 7th house, which is a house of business and personal relationship, so there could be hurdles in these areas of your life. Scorpio rules your 7th house, so you have to make sure you are not combative or possessive in your relationship, otherwise there could be issues. Here you will need to be careful signing any contracts, so make sure Taurus natives read all the details before signing anything. So for Gemini rising natives, Saturn will transit your 9th house, which is a Dharma Trikone house and deals with one's belief system. So here the 9th lord is in the 9th house, so you'll feel like learning deeper and evaluating your belief system, as well as exploring other spiritual and religious philosophies. 9th house is also the house of long distance travel and higher education, so you will feel like expanding your horizons by traveling or putting some effort towards a higher educational pursuit. For those that are already studying, there could be a delay in finishing your course, or you could change your course as Saturn will force you to think about what is best for your future and force you to do things more slowly and methodically. Ninth house is also the house of bosses, so here you may have some difficulties with people in authority positions and may be required to make adjustments to maintain a cordial relationship. Saturn's third aspect will be on your 11th house, and the 11th house is ruled by Aries, so these individuals love socializing and spending lots of time and energy with friends, even if the connections are just superficial. Saturn's aspect on the 11th house will slow up your social life by either making you more selective where you go and who you connect with. The connections you maintain during the next 2.5-3 years will be the ones who will stand by you for the next 28 years. 11th house is also the house of your income, so if you are a casual worker or a contractor and your dasha period is good, Saturn will give you stable income for the next 2.5 years. Saturn here can also encourage you to think of more productive ways to earn money and help you redefine your personal goals and ambitions. Saturn's 7th aspect will be on your 3rd house, and the 3rd house is ruled by the sign of Leo. So when these people are communicating, they always like to be right and not needing any questions from others. Saturn's aspect here will challenge you in the way you express yourself, which may not make you feel comfortable. Here you will be required to control your ego and to be more open and listen to other people and acknowledge their points of view. Saturn's 10th aspect will be on your 6th house, which is a house of routine, and this can show the way you work or study will be challenged. If you are a student, you might have to change your study plan or attend evening classes or add something new to your routine, which you may not want to do. If you are working, then there could be a new way of doing a particular task, which you may find it frustrating to adjust to. Or here, you could have new co-workers who are not easy to work with. So for Cancer rising natives, Saturn will be transiting your 8th house, so this brings the focus onto finances and possessions that you hold with other people. So this could mean that your partner could encounter some financial issues, which will cut off that source of income. Saturn's transit here is telling you that it is better for you to get into a position where you don't have to over-depend on anyone else's resources. If you are married recently, you may have to learn to live with those values of your partner and in-laws and incorporate them into your own life without destroying your own individuality. If you are in your senior years, here you could be drawing up wills or taking out life insurance. 8th house is the house of transformation, so here Saturn will help you build the structures you need to deal with life changes in a responsible way. Saturn's 3rd aspect will be on your 10th house, which is ruled by the sign of Aries. 10th house Aries are highly motivated to succeed and have a desire to leave their mark in the world. Saturn's aspect here will either require you to redefine your career goals or help you focus your efforts more on the goals which are realistically achievable. If you are an individual who is just starting their working life, Saturn's aspect here can make you rethink your line of career. You might have chosen the wrong field, so since Saturn is transiting the 8th house, you could see a complete change of your job or profession altogether. Saturn's 7th aspect will be on your 2nd house, so in addition to the focus being on joint finances, you will have to restructure your own finances. So if in the past you have spent more money than you have saved, Saturn will urge you to save more. So here you will have to rebalance your resources. Saturn's 10th aspect will be on your 5th house, which is ruled by Scorpio. The 5th house represents romance, so here you will feel like romantic relationships are blocked. This aspect can make it more difficult to find time for hobbies and to have fun. 5th house represents children, so there could be obstacles in having kids, where you may have to explore fertility treatment. If you have adult kids, then this could be a period where you may not see eye to eye with them. So for Leo rising natives, this Saturn energy is going to be in your 7th house, which is the house of relationship and other people. So Saturn can do quite well in the 7th house, provided Leo people balance their ego and become more humble. Saturn's transit here will help you build a new foundation for your relationship so that it can continue to grow and flourish. However, you will need to realize you are not the only person with needs, so you need to take some time to listen to your partner, which will help your relationship or marriage rebuild and continue. So the 7th house is a Kendra house which deals with individuality, so you will have to go through an intense encounter with your partner or other people, which will enable you to define yourself by becoming aware of how you deal with people. If you remain egotistic and unwilling to listen or make compromises, then the relationship could become stagnant and lead to potential issues. For those that are single, you will have an opportunity to make new connections. You might come across people who are mature and responsible, and you will have to appreciate those qualities in order to progress any relationship. Saturn's 3rd aspect will be on your 9th house, which is ruled by the sign of Aries. So this means you are someone who is very optimistic and likes to travel the world and expand your horizons. So with Saturn's aspect here, it can make you feel a little bit gloomy since Saturn is influencing 3 out of the 4 Kendra houses. Here, you need to be a little bit careful when you are conversing with leaders or bosses. Aries ruling the 9th house means you like to defend your points of view and prove you are right. So Saturn will require you to improve your attitude towards people of authority. If you are a student, Saturn may give you a nudge in the back in order to help you become more productive in your studies and will help you focus more to complete your course or higher education. Saturn's 7th aspect will be on your 1st house. So with a lot of focus going on in your relationship and marriage, your personal enthusiasm can be a bit low during the next 2 or 3 years. So you need to make a little bit of time for yourself as well, so that your well-being doesn't suffer, as with this aspect you will start to feel your age. Saturn's 10th aspect on the 4th house, which is ruled by Scorpio, is your home. So Saturn's energy here can disturb your domestic environment. If you are in your adolescent years, you could have challenging time with your parents or housemates. If you are an adult, here you have to take care of your health or your parents' health. So this could be a time where you could have carer duties. So for Virgo rising natives, Saturn will be transiting your 6th house, which is a house of daily routine, work and health. So the emphasis here is to analyze, discriminate and eliminate what is no longer useful in your daily practice, or to find better ways of doing things, as Aquarius is a sign of innovation. Saturn also rules your 5th house, and during the last 2.5–3 years, you may have started to pursue an activity that you have now come to love. The question for 6th house Saturn is now, is it still useful and productive? If yes, then maybe it just needs a bit of work or an adjustment to be perfected, and therefore the side hustle of the last 3 years could now become a full-time job. Saturn's 3rd aspect will be on your 8th house, which represents joint assets and inheritance, and is ruled by Aries, which means these people like to take the initiative in making the financial decisions on the management of joint wealth. Saturn's aspect here can cause some money-related disagreements, either with your spouse or with siblings. So for example, you and your sibling might have inherited an estate, with both of you at odds at what to do with it. Here, Saturn doesn't want you to make an impulsive decision. It wants you to give the options more thought and consideration, and to have the discussion, which will help you make the more worthwhile, agreeable decision. Saturn's 7th aspect will be on your 12th house, which represents unseen or hidden talents. 12th house for Virgo natives is ruled by Leo, so these people can be stronger than they show themselves. They can have a lot of force and power to serve other people, but Saturn's aspect here will urge the native to balance this power, so there will be moments in the next 2 or 3 years where you will be in the spotlight. Saturn's 10th aspect will be on the 3rd house, which is ruled by the sign of Scorpio. So these people believe in themselves and their own opinions a lot. They can be domineering and very intense when communicating. So here, these individuals need to be careful when they are interacting with others. And this is also a period where your relationship with your younger sibling will be tested. So for Libra rising natives, Saturn will be transiting your 5th house, which is the house of fun. Saturn being a serious planet, so here Libra natives could be having fun through their work. So this could be expanding a hobby or interest that has given you a lot of joy in the past and turning it into a business of some sort. Saturn is also your 4th house lord in the 5th house, so this can show a person will feel and receive peace of mind through creativity. Since 5th house also represents love and romance, relationships could become more practical and serious, so there will be no more playing around. If your relationship is just based on fun, then there is a chance it could break. In terms of children, this is a great time for planned pregnancy, or if you already have kids, they can create added responsibility during this transit. 5th house also rules legacy, so Saturn's transit here will help you define and structure your legacy. Saturn's 3rd aspect will be on your 7th house, so Saturn's aspect here can bring opportunities for a romantic relationship to become a committed relationship or marriage. If you are in a position where you are dating prospective people with a view to one of them becoming a partner, here Saturn's aspect will help you decide on that one person or force you to choose one person. If you are already married, you will need to be a bit more cooperative with your spouse, as your 7th house sign is Aries, which is a combative sign which can cause bickering and fighting. Saturn's 7th aspect will be on your 11th house, and the 11th house is a house of networking ruled by the sign of Leo. So when Leo is influencing this house, it means the natives love to be the leader in a group or their network. Saturn's 7th aspect can limit this area of your life, since you are so busy working on the 5th house matters such as your creativity or the responsibility of your kids that you might not be spending enough time with your friends or social network. So you just have to make sure to take some time out to catch up with friends. 11th house is also the house of income. So since Saturn is transiting the 5th house, here you can get good returns from your investment. 5th house lord in the 5th house aspecting the 11th can mean you could start earning from your side hustle. But at the same time, you would need to keep a focus on your primary job to ensure the inflow of income. Saturn's 10th aspect will be on your 2nd house, which is ruled by the sign of Scorpio. So when Scorpio rules the 2nd house, these people can be very secretive when it comes to disclosing their finances, even with their spouse. Saturn's aspect here may create circumstances where you need to disclose your finances. Perhaps you are getting married, which can happen as Saturn is influencing both your 5th and 7th house, and the time has come to open up about your assets and resources. 2nd house also represents facial features, so here you have to take care of your eyes, so this could be a period where you can get spectacles or contact lenses. So for Scorpio rising natives, Saturn will be transiting your 4th house, which is one of the Kendra houses, which deals with our identity. So Saturn's energy here will break down any conditioning that has restricted you from being the person you want to be. So we are all embedded with a particular family pattern and influenced by the environment and people we grow up with, but it might not be who we truly are or who we want to be. So Saturn helps you differentiate yourself from your parents so that you can become fully individual and true to yourself. 4th house represents our physical home, so Saturn here will urge the native to make changes to their current living conditions. This could mean moving house or renovating. The 4th house can also represent our domestic life, so there could be added responsibility in the home, such as caring for an elderly parent. Saturn's 3rd aspect will be on your 6th house, which is ruled by the sign of Aries, which means these people are very committed to their day-to-day work and extremely hardworking, in that they can get lost in their work, especially if they take on too much. So this can also mean the native prefers doing things on their own rather than working as a team. Saturn's aspect here can show the native may have to work with colleagues more during the next 2.5–3 years, which might make the native feel distressed. But it's important to realize that working as part of a team can be a more efficient and productive way to get tasks completed. Saturn's aspect here can cause you minor ailments, but Saturn's intention here is to merely bring awareness so that you take better care of your health. Saturn's 7th aspect will be on your 10th house, which is a house of karma, career, and status, ruled by the ambitious sign of Leo. So with Saturn's aspect here, it means that you might not have as much motivation, or you might find it difficult to achieve any career progression in the next 2.5–3 years, as all your focus is on your domestic life. Here, you would need to make sure you set your goals and continue working towards them. Saturn's 10th aspect will be on your 1st house, which is ruled by Scorpio. And with Scorpio in the 1st house, these people usually have an armor surrounding themselves and are able to deal with all kinds of situation. Saturn's 10th aspect will really test that armor, so here you have to take care of your health, both mental and physical. So for Sagittarius natives, Saturn will be transiting your 3rd house, which will mark the end of the 7.5-year cycle of Sarasati. So 3rd house is the house of your immediate environment, as well as the everyday aspects of your mind, which are both influenced by the way we communicate. Saturn here can bring communication difficulties into your life. So this transit here will challenge you to spend more time organizing your ideas and restructuring how you think and express yourself with more depth and intelligence. Here your mind will become more serious and cautious, and this helps you prioritize and not waste time thinking or talking about meaningless things. If you are in the professional field that involves writing, you may have to develop your written skills through a short-term course in order to write more formal briefs and papers. This transit can also mean you may spend more time traveling to different places for your work. If you are more of a senior age, you might be forced to upgrade your communication devices, and for many senior people, including people in my family, keeping up to date and being able to use the latest technology can be a bit troublesome. So this transit is more about broadening the scope of your intellect in order to communicate more effectively. Saturn's 3rd aspect will be on your 5th house, which is ruled by the sign of Aries, and these people like to enjoy life as it comes. They have a lot of energy to invest in creative endeavors and always like to start different projects and activities. Saturn's aspect here will help you channel your energy into projects that are worth the time and effort. It is also a good time to put your money in long-term investments, which will allow growth. Saturn's 7th aspect will be on your 9th house, which is ruled by the sign of Leo. So when Leo rules the 9th house, it means these people are always very confident in the things they believe in. Once these natives set their mind on a certain belief or philosophy, it's unlikely to change no matter how many people try to influence them. So when Saturn's 7th aspect influences this house, your beliefs are being challenged. So we are not just talking about religious beliefs, but rather ideas that we hold as being correct. So here you will have to learn how to keep an open mind and balance your core beliefs. Saturn's 10th aspect will be on your 12th house, which is ruled by the sign of Scorpio, which is mysterious and has many taboos. So people having it in the 12th house are looking to keep several aspects of their lives and personalities hidden. Saturn's 10th aspect can make you bring these to the surface. So for Capricorn natives, Saturn will be out of your 1st house and transiting your 2nd house, which will give you a little bit of mental relief. So over the next 2.5–3 years, the area of focus for you will be your finances. You will either feel financially insecure, or there will be circumstances where you are forced to be more responsible with your money. This is a good time to work on your financial planning and evaluating the assets that you have. What is making you money and what isn't? What's the best way to manage your savings and meeting your financial goals? Saturn's message here is to build for the future. Second house also represents our face, and in particular, our eyes. So Saturn will force you to take care of your vision. If you are a senior person, you may get glasses, or if you already wear contact lenses, there may be better versions out there for you. Second house can also cause some issues with your close family members, so you will have to explore ways to keep a harmonious atmosphere with them. Saturn's third aspect will be on your fourth house, which is ruled by the sign of Aries, and it shows that the home is the place where you express your emotions freely. So Saturn's third aspect here might create circumstances where you need to give more thought and consideration on how you express yourself and influence others in the home to avoid hurting them. Fourth house Aries can show changes in your home. So if you are a young person who has moved out of the family home, Saturn's aspect here will provide you some stability in your residence. Saturn's seventh aspect will be on your eighth house, which is ruled by the sign of Leo. So these people prefer control over the joint financial accounts. As we mentioned, Saturn transiting the second house is a good time for financial planning. Saturn's seventh aspect here shows you need to work together and compromise with your partner or spouse on the management of joint resources. Saturn's 10th aspect will be on your 11th house. So Saturn will be influencing both your money houses. So in the 11th house, this aspect can show changes or breaks in your income, which can simultaneously affect the second house. This could happen if you are below 35 or in an unfavorable dasha period. If you are over 36 and in a favorable dasha period, there may not be breaks in your income, but you may have to work a little bit harder to get your dues. This can also mean that if you have a business, it may take more time to get invoices paid for any major goods and services that you have offered. So for Aquarius rising natives, Saturn will be transiting your first house, and if you follow transits from the moon, then this transit will be over your natal moon, which marks the peak period of Saraswati and a major time of transition. So Saturn's transit here could give you new possibilities in your life. You might move to a new country, change houses, take on a newly created role. The possibilities are endless if your dasha period is good. One thing that is certain is that there will be changes in your life, and therefore often an element of fear because you are pushed into an undefined future where you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. Here your mind will feel heavy and you will feel like there's too much pressure on your shoulders. Saturn here will require you to define your problems and find a reasonable solution. Whatever challenges you face in the next 2.5 years, you will get through it and become a stronger and wiser person after this transit. Saturn's third aspect will be on your third house, which is ruled by the powerful sign of Aries. So this can give individuals a strong intellect. So for young kids who are starting their journey of learning, Saturn's aspect here will actually help them focus more on their early learning. Third house Aries also have strong communication skills, both written and verbal. So Saturn's aspect here will help them to be more aware of the consequences of their words. Saturn's seventh aspect will be on your seventh house, which is ruled by the sign of Leo. So these people like to be in control of their relationship or marriage. So if you are married or in a relationship, Saturn's aspect here can mean you need to share your life with equals and to leave some room for your other half so that you can both shine together. Since Saturn is transiting the first house, this can also mean you are so much focused on yourself and on your own responsibilities or opportunities that you are not spending enough time with your other half. Saturn's 10th aspect will be on your 10th house, which is a house of career. So this can be a challenging time in trying to achieve your professional goals. Here, Saturn won't deny you success, but you will have to work extremely hard and overcome major obstacles to get the result. So for Pisces rising natives, Saturn will transit in your 12th house, which will mark the first phase of Saraswati. 12th house is a house of letting go. Saturn's transit here will urge you to let go of old patterns of behavior, old attachments, and even old friends. Saturn is also ruling your 11th house of network circle, so you may have friends who decide to move away or abroad, bringing an end to a connection. The structures that you built over the course of the last 30 years will begin to collapse. Anything that no longer works, feels empty and meaningless will dissolve away. Saturn here is releasing you from the past and preparing you for a new exciting cycle. 12th house is also the house of isolation, so some Pisces people will be moving abroad for work, but you may find it hard to make social connections, which will make you feel lonely and isolated. Saturn's third aspect will be on your second house. Second house is ruled by the sign of Aries, so these people are driven to make a good living and spend a lot of energy to obtain financial gains, but they are also spending too much from time to time. Saturn's third aspect can actually help these natives reduce their impulse spending and therefore forcing them to save more money. Saturn's 7th aspect will be on your 6th house, which is ruled by the sign of Leo. And these people are always focused on their work because a sense of achievement is very important to them. When Saturn's 7th aspect falls on this house, and if you are of a more senior age, then your energy and enthusiasm will be reduced. Remember, Saturn is transiting the 12th house, which is the house of introspection. So during this period, you may prefer to have a deep time with the company of your own thoughts rather than chasing achievements. If you are between 20 and 45, you might not get the acknowledgement or attention from any work, which can make you feel a little bit slack. Saturn's 10th aspect will be on your 9th house, which rules higher education. So if you are a student, you'll find this aspect very challenging in terms of your studies. If your dasha period is unfavorable, you might find it difficult to finish your studies, or you will have to work extremely hard. If you are at a working age, this can be a difficult time with bosses or managers, so you will need to be more flexible. So those were my predictions for the up and coming transit of Saturn in Scorpio for all rising signs. So we all have a lot of work to do over the next few years. There will be challenges, but also lots of opportunity to grow in all areas of our lives. And I'll see you next time. Thank you.